Today, more and more schools are introducing tablets into the classroom, either on a bring-your-own basis or the school has roaming sets that teachers can book out for particular lessons. Kids have devices at home. Why do they need them at school? I have with me in studio Michelle Lessus, Managing Director of Think Ahead Education Solutions, the education arm of Core Group, distributors of Apple products in South Africa. We're going to be chatting about the need to provide lessons against a relevant social backdrop that will prepare our children for the future world of work. Michelle, how does technology leapfrog education into the future?
Hi, Nikki. I think I really have to stress your intro. I think it's very important to understand the world and the context of which our children are living in and which our children will be working in. So our children are living in this culture of abundance of technology and abundance of information. And at the moment, there's a real clash between what they're doing in their social lives, what they're doing in their media lives, and the school.
So in a way, there's a disconnect, and they see it almost as irrelevant in the classroom because it's not reflecting real life.
100%. So they have all this wealth of information, this wealth of media in their worlds and in the work world, and it stops the minute they get into the classroom. And with our programs and with technology and with the iPad programs, it links those two worlds and prepares our learners for the world that they live and work in. And I think when you look at what's happening in the world of work, any job that is routine-based or does not require critical skills will be replaced by technology.
Yeah. So we're looking at jobs that are going to require critical thinking, creativity, collaboration. So, for example, if you were to go and apply for a job at Google today, they put you through rigorous tests, and they're looking for intense ability to relate to people, both virtually and in the real world, and to be able to think out of the box and to integrate real with virtual.
100%. But 10 years ago, we used to go to conferences and we used to debate, should we or shouldn't we introduce technology into the classroom? We cannot have that debate anymore. We cannot have our children now not being digitally literate. Now it's about how we do it and the best way we prepare our learners for the future. They need to be innovative. They need to be critical thinkers. They need to be able to do teamwork. They need to be able to collaborate. And I think it's through having a tool that can link the home and the classroom. This is where technology and education.
Okay, so in education terms, we're talking about things like the blended classroom and the flipped classroom. How does technology enable that to happen? So this is now an interactive learning space as opposed to I stand up in front and I tell you what you're going to learn and I test you on what you know. How has this changed?
So when we were at school, and that's no indication of your age, Nikki, but when we were at school, how it worked were teachers would deliver content and they would give kids their assignments at home. Now it's flipped around through technology, and it makes sense because technology will never replace teachers. Teachers still have that insight, the knowledge of the content.
And the knowledge of how children learn and what the cognitive stages of development
100%.
are. And their role is to match technology to the age and stage appropriately.
100%. So now the flipped classroom is you've got technology, you've got these resources, you've got videos, you've got Khan Academy, you've got worksheets, you've got books. You do the learning of the content at home, and the teacher uses the skills at school to do assignments, to do projects,
to teach them how to manipulate that information they've acquired to do something bigger than just acquire the information.
And the thing about learning now is it's all very well to say kids can, Google it. It's about researching and actually analyzing that information.
And interacting with that information. That media.
Yeah.
And the information.
I mean, when you see, I just saw some stats now, is I think in 2 days, we produce now information which was produced from civilization to I mean, it's like it's
information overload. It's not about teaching children the facts. It's about helping them find the knowledge and then do something interesting with it. Okay, so in many classroom, what we call classroom 3.0, which is where technology meets reality and where teachers are doing a great job creating a smart classroom with a smart teacher. the classroom walls are being broken down. We're creating much more bigger interactive spaces where kids can work on devices of their choice, sitting on the floor, on the couch, at a table, chairs, whatever works for them. Then teachers come in and they take small groups of kids out. They workshop something. They then put the kids back into the group, and the kids are doing this peer-to-peer learning where they're passing on information, helping each other. And in fact, the teacher becomes more of a facilitator than a top-down command and control kind of teacher.
Yeah, so a few points there, Nikki, some good points. Firstly is there's the formal and informal spaces and relationships are breaking down. And also what we talk about is moving from the physical to the digital space. And so a classroom links between different contexts, different social contexts, different global contexts. We're now working with reading projects across the world. So, I mean, we've just
linking one class to another class in another country.
Which is, and I think the big thing is, I love this quote that goes, technology won't replace teachers, but teachers who don't use technology will be replaced.
So teachers are needing reinvention, so to speak.
And I think teachers, I think the knowledge and the insight of teachers will never be replaced. But teachers who are afraid of, kids know more than teachers in terms of the actual use of technology, and it has to work together, and that's what's exciting. So the teachers that are thriving are those who are working with the learners together.
In fact, I've spoken to many school principals who are perhaps 10 years off retirement, and where they have embraced technology in a very positive way, not as a band-aid, to say we're at school that's in the 21st century and we have technology, but where they're really, really doing it well. They've said it's given them a whole new lease on their career. They're reinventing themselves, which is so exciting. I mean, how often in your career do you get to absolutely reinvent yourself? But now, in terms of, we talk about tablets, we talk about iPads, these are not cheap devices, but are these applicable in both privileged and under-resourced schools?
Nikki, what we've seen, we work in over 300 schools in South Africa, and I can honestly say it's a mix from the top private schools to the most rural township schools. And the models are very different. The models are, in a private school, every child will have an iPad, whereas in a sponsored township school, there will be a lab. But I think what's really important is that the link is the resources and the making sure that every child has access to the best education is not even a debate anymore.
So bringing the world to the child and letting the child interact with the world.
For me, this isn't a piece of glass. It isn't just about putting a textbook on here. It is a multimedia resource kit.
That is absolutely linked to the curriculum, and you've produced this amazing guide for the hundreds and thousands of apps, and you've linked them to the curriculum, so it takes the guesswork out for teachers, which is amazing.
So and it can also, sorry to interrupt, but can it also link to every school has different level of needs. So in some school in a township where teacher needs reinforcement in the quality of their maths teaching, you get maths resources.
Okay, so it's supportive of the educational process.
And it's also supportive of personalised learning. So if a child has special needs.
Yes, like a deaf child, for example. It's opened up a whole new world
and
for them.
And for me, the personalisation and the accessibility and the link to resources make this really relevant across.
Indispensable in a way.
And it really,
Michelle, thank you so much for your time. And that brings us to the end of this week's show. Thanks, Michelle, for giving us more insight into the need to fast-track our schools into the future and how technology can flatten the playing field and engage the learner by creating interactive and meaningful learning experiences, no matter what their socioeconomic status is. Whether you are a parent or an educator, for more detailed information on this topic, read my latest book, Tech Savvy Parenting, written with tech guru Arthur Goldstuck. And for links to what was discussed on the show today, visit nikkibush.com and click on the Nikki Bush TV tab. On that note, I dare you to go and change the world, one parent, one teacher, one leader at a time.